friendships one of the main focal points on Moesha? Let's talk about it. Thank you for clicking on the video. Now, as per usual, there are spoilers. So if you don't like spoilers, then you should jump off of here, go watch Moesha, and then come back. You'll probably have to watch like the first 4 seasons. But Kim and Moesha were best friends. In fact, I'll put it this way. Kim was Moesha's best friend. Moesha was Kim's best friend. And Kim was Niecy's best friend. But this video is not about Niecy. She will have her moment. It's about Kim and Moesha's friendship. And I actually thought they had a decent friendship, but they had some ups and downs. And I want to talk about those particular episodes mainly, with a few mentions of just moments I enjoyed between them, and go from there. Let's start from the very beginning. In episode 2 of season 1, we see this cheerleader girl trying to get Moesha to join, and she not feeling it. You know, she's more into the language arts and poetry stuff. She doesn't want to be waving pom-poms, right? But Kim does, and she begs Moesha to join with her, well, to at least try out with her, so that she wouldn't be so nervous while doing so. And after some convincing, Moesha does. Now, in the episode, we see Kim gets in and Moesha doesn't. And that creates a little friction between them. And it looks like Moesha is just jealous of Kim, and it does paint her in a bad light. Mind y'all, everybody go out of their way to hate Moesha, and I do not hate Moesha. In fact, I have completely different views on her, but we'll get to those views in a completely different video. Anyways, so they get into it. They stop talking for a moment. Hakeem, tells Moesha she tripping, and he made some sense to her, because then she goes on to go to her practice and they make up, right? Here are my thoughts on that particular episode. I think that girl who was trying to get Moesha to join plotted against those two, okay? When Moesha was like so adamant of not joining, I think she got upset about it. And the fact that she was only willing to try out because Kim wanted her to try out, I think she was like, okay, well, I'm gonna cause some ruckus, right? So now, mind you, Kim did have a better prep for her tryout, because she actually wanted to do it. Moesha did give a half-assed performance, but it was still decent enough. And we all know that with a little practice and showing her the moves, she will be able to easily incorporate into cheerleading or whatever, right? But when Kim falls, everybody laughs but Moesha. And I think that old girl peeped that and was like, oh no, she's not mean enough. She's not one of us. So we're going to do the switcheroo and add Kim to teach Miss Moesha a lesson. In doing so, it caused friction, because Moesha's like, bro, you've been begging me to join, and then you turn around and not include me in the team? What the heck, right? In that moment when they're at Andel's, the den. When they're at the den and Moesha and Kim have that little back and forth, you can see that girl who was begging Moesha to join the team smirking. Like, she seemed very pleased with herself. Now, this is from my point of view. I don't know if this is how the episode actually is supposed to go, but I've often been told that I watch television very differently from other people and notice things in a way that other people don't usually notice them. But from my perspective, it seemed like this girl was just trying to create an issue, and she successfully was able to do that. And honestly, I don't think it really mattered after they made up, because she just proved her point, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, Moesha and Kim, they're besties, so they're always going to make up. But yeah, I just wanted to point out my little theory when it comes to that episode. I don't think that it was necessarily about jealousy. I think it was more so hurt, because she has been being begged to join this team, and then she gets convinced to even try out because of her friend, and then Kim's just like, oh yeah, I'm still do it, even though you ain't get in. Which fair enough, you should. You wanted to do it, she didn't. I think her ego just got a little hurt, but she came back to center and was able to support her friend, and I like that. Now another episode that I want to talk about when they got into a little tiff is the in season 4 when Kim got upset at Moesha for making a joke because Kim noticed an application to a college and she was like, oh, I should apply here. And Moesha, she giggled and she's like, Kim like, what? And she's like, no, I'm just surprised that you want to go to a 4-year college, and points out, your grades haven't been so great, which her grades haven't. So I don't understand why Kim even got so upset. And she's like, I'm sick of you acting like you're better than us. Because I guess Moesha didn't want to wear pink with her and Niecy that night or whatever. Which, it's her choice. Like, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like, and she's like getting upset about all of these superficial things, and I don't think Moesha actually meant any harm. And when we see later on, because this is the fanatic episode, and we see her read her letter out loud, and you can see her true feelings for Kim, and she genuinely cares about Kim. And even though she's very much so realistic about how Kim has been spending her high school years, that doesn't mean that she doesn't believe in Kim. Like, when Kim asked her to model in her clothes for that fashion show, I think that was in season 2, she did it because she believed in Kim. She didn't want to do it. Dee pushed her into doing the modeling show anyways, and she went ahead and wore Kim's clothes because she trusted in Kim's fashion sense, right? And, there were plenty of times where she encouraged Kim. And, I think the thing about it was she tried to keep her more zoned in, right? It's the same thing with, like, how Kim really was in love with Hakeem. Like, and she thought that there was a future there. But there really was no future there. Hakeem was not feeling her. At least not during a time where, she was feeling him the most, right? And there was often times where Moesha's like, Kim, he does not want to be with you. Just being honest and being realistic. And Kim is like, you don't know what you're talking about, And I think in that moment, in that room, it was also a thing of just being realistic, not taking it too serious. She's not trying to dog her, but she's just pointing out, like, you spent the last 4 years with mainly F's in every subject. I don't understand why you would want to go to a 4-year college. It just doesn't seem like your thing, right? And I just I didn't understand why Kim got so upset. I think it was the combination of, Moesha not wanting to join in the activities and then making those comments. But girl, you have to be honest with yourself. And we see when they do make up, like, she's like, I'm just, upset because you're going off to these colleges that's farther away from me, and so I just lashed out, But a lot of people often just points out Moesha's wrongs, and I'm like, Moesha's not that bad. Come on. Like, she didn't really do anything bad in that episode. But yeah, and there are so many other times where, like, we see their friendship thrive, like in going into the realistic aspect, right? So we know that Moesha can't sing, and Kim is her best friend and knows that she can't sing. When Moesha wanted to join CPQ, when the French girl was there, Kim like, y'all sure you want to do this? Like, she can't hold a note. Like, you know what I mean? And it wasn't on no shade, but she just knew her friend couldn't sing. You know what I'm saying? So it's like those times. And another episode that I want to talk about, I wasn't going to talk about this episode, but that episode when it was the Halloween costume contest, and Kim heard them talking about her over the phone. I thought that was so dumb of her to sit up and be mad when you know you talk about everybody. Like she be talking about people in front of they face. Like she talk about Moesha in front of her face, talk about Niecy in front of her face. Like she gossips about everybody. You know that you was just gossiping about this girl or that girl just the other night on the phone, but because you heard it, you want to get upset. Like no, you don't get upset now. Like, and that's why you shouldn't be doing stuff like that to begin with, because you're doing that to other people, but then you see what it feels like when you're the one on the receiving end of the gossip. So that was a lesson for Kim, and unfortunately it turned into a thing of, well, we just ain't gonna gossip, but we gonna still gossip, just not let other people hear it from now on. Make sure that other people don't hear it, right? um that's kind of what it led to, because Kim and Niecy still gonna gossip. Even if Moesha don't, they still gonna gossip. But you know what I mean. I didn't think that she had the right, for real, to be upset in that moment, because that's something you be doing as well, but yeah. I actually like Kim and Moesha's dynamic in friendship. I thought that they balanced each other out, because Kim was a little bit more chaotic while Moesha tried to be a little bit more mature, and then they had those moments where they just got into little schemes together, and it was just so funny. But yeah, that's pretty much all I want to talk about in this particular video. There's many more Moesha videos to come, so if I do want to mention something else, it'll probably be on one of those other ones. Like I said, Niecy is going to be getting her very own video. Look forward to that. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please feel free to like the video and to subscribe. Remember, guys, there's other videos already posted on this channel. Go ahead and go watch them if you like this video. I promise you will like the other videos. And until next time, bye.